What's going on, everyone? For those of you who are new here, my name is Charles. I'm a graduate and a medical student studying here in London. In this video, I'll be going through the Pomodoro technique and a few ways that you can use it to improve your productivity, the why behind why you should be using it if you're not using it already, and also include a few apps at the end of this video that I recommend if you want to start using this technique for your work or for university, for school, for A-levels. So all the information in this video was obtained from different articles that I read to do some research before I began making this video. I'll leave some links down below as well as the website I used to gain some more information to make this video. So what is the Pomodoro technique and why should you use it? So a study was published in the Journal of Cognition and it stated that by breaking your work up into small chunks, it helps you to keep your attention span on track. The lead for the study was a psychology professor at the University of Illinois and his name was Alejandro, and he stated that if you were to continually work on a project for a period of time, the mind would automatically tune out. And his words were that when faced with long tasks, such as studying before a final exam, brief mental breaks will actually help you stay focused on your task. And basically, what this study concluded was that when you're working on a project for a period of time, it is best to give yourself scheduled breaks so you can accomplish more during that period of time, just to help you to stay on track with what it is that you want to do. So the Pomodoro technique is a method of breaking up the work that you want to do into specific chunks. So for example, 25 minutes followed by a 5-minute break, and then you would carry out that cycle 4 times, for example, and then have 30 minutes after as like a long break, and then you would restart the whole period again. So from the book called The Distracted Mind, it stated that the shorter the time between rewards, the stronger the drive is to achieve that reward and to maintain that behavior. So basically this means that if you're doing any piece of work, the amount of time that you use to stop yourself from using your phone, the easier it is next time to maintain that behavior. So to maintain studying, to maintain working, avoid getting distracted so easily. And this came about from decades of research of learning and behavior, and if you want to read more of it, then I'll link that book down below. It helps to fight decision fatigue. So when you want to work, it's at times very easy to procrastinate on how long you want to work, how long you want to stay working, how long your break should be, when should you start working, what days do you want to work. It's very easy to get distracted and to start thinking about all of these different factors as opposed to just stop what you're doing and just get to work. So the structure of the Pomodoro technique basically means that it makes it more streamlined. So the only difficult part of the whole process is actually sitting down and doing the work. So over time, as you start to use this structure, then you get more used to avoiding distractions and to avoiding things that make it difficult for you to stay focused. When you want to work on, let's say, Monday, for example, all you have to do is to make yourself wake up at 7 a.m, for example, get to your table for 7:30, sit down, start the timer on your phone or using an app which makes things even easier, then get into work. And the structure of the Pomodoro technique makes everything streamlined. You don't need to worry about how long you need to be working for or how long you need to spend before you go for a break. Everything is there, everything is structured, so you can just focus on doing the work that you need to do. Just to go into this a bit further, in 1927, the philosopher and Nobel Prize winner Henry Bergson, he basically came up with this philosophy of time, and he stated that time only causes stress when it wore its three-dimensional mask. When you were looking at time in its three-dimensional aspects, it forced you to measure time. For example, time often causes more stress when you have a deadline, so when you have an exam or a test or an essay due in a few days, for example. But on the other hand, if you were to view time as a sequenced series of events, for example, you wake up, you have a shower, you brush your teeth, you have your breakfast, you go to work or to uni, it makes your life a lot more easier. It makes your life structured. You already know what it is that you need to do. You're seeing your day as a series of tasks as opposed to deadline. Therefore, you see time as a bridge between your to-do list and your achieved goals, which reduces the anxiety that surrounds deadlines and surrounds your day-to-day life. Moving on, it helps limit distractions. Some studies were done from the University of California and they stated that multitasking is actually counterproductive. When you switch from one task to another, it effectively takes you 23 minutes, 15 seconds to refocus. So most of us are very boastful about how we're able to multitask and get multiple things done during the day, and this study is not saying that that's bad. It's better to focus on one thing at a time and to do that well. So in reality, science discourages multitasking. This study also revealed that multitasking can ruin your productivity and slow your brain. Basically, using this technique, breaking up your day, breaking up your work, your tasks into different chunks, it makes it very easy to stay focused, to limit distractions, to cast away anything that may stop you from reaching your goal in the long run, just to streamline your life and to make it easier for you to get things done. Parkinsons Law. So this law basically states that time expands to fill the time allotted to it. And a method that was devised to combat Parkinson's Law is called time boxing. This basically involves dividing your time into chunks. At its core, that is what this whole video is about. That is what the Pomodoro technique is. So basically, you're not focusing on the end goal. You're focusing on spending the next 25 minutes or so achieving this specific points in your plan, as opposed to spending hours trying to devise how you're gonna complete a whole essay in a week. You can break up that essay into bite-sized chunks, into different days. It just makes everything a lot more organized and structured. So using this time boxing method, you're prioritizing tasks and putting all your distractions to the back burner and just focusing on that piece of work you have to do for that specified period of time. So effectively, using this method, you're beating Parkinson's Law because you're setting a time goal and you're working to achieve that piece of work during that period of time. So now I'll just move on to some apps that I recommend, and there are 2 apps that I recommend. One of them is Focus Keeper and the second one is Forest. There's loads of other apps on the App Store today, but I feel like these apps, they're very nice apps. They're customizable, they look nice. There's loads of room for you to adjust the time that you spend for each session working or for each session taking breaks. And they're $1.99 each, so it's a one-time fee. But in some of them, like Forest, there is in-app purchases if you want to change the trees, if you want to maybe change the music that plays in the background. Overall, I feel like Forest, for me, that's the app that I've been using most recently. I quite enjoy this app. It looks nice. It's a change from just the plain look of Focus Keeper, even though you are able to change the color of Focus Keeper. But Forest, the whole idea of it, growing a tree during your study period, being able to change the tree as you gain coins from studying and then using those coins. I just like the whole concept of Forest. At the end of the day, you don't really need to pay for an app. You can just use the timer on your phone. But I like these apps because you're able to track the amount of time you spend studying, working during the week, during the months, over a period of time. This can help you to know what exactly you're doing during that day. If you should be working less, if you should be working more. I'm sure for most people, it's probably to be working more. That's the end of this video. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you have, please leave a like or dislike and let me know why in the comments below. Also leave suggestions for some videos that you'd like to see me make. I'm trying to upload weekly. Any support that you can give is appreciated. And also follow me on Instagram. It's just my name. I'll leave it somewhere here. And I'll see you guys next week.